Well, hello there, Internet, and all you nonfiction branders wherever you happen to be. Whether in the air, on the ground, or at the ships at sea. I'm DP Knudten, and it's time for a little bit of GarageBand podcast editing in real life 101. And it's Saturday, a little bit after 10, and this is the time that I actually process the audio files that I've recorded previously, typically using Zoom with an interview who might be located, I don't know where, around the country or even the world. And this is the time where I get to work on that to make my podcast that will premiere on Monday. I am not a professional editor, which you shall soon see. However, I am an experienced podcaster from the point of view of someone who wants to do podcasting to really get the benefits of podcasting without spending a whole lot of money. And my setup is all built around my MacBook Pro. Why? Because MacBooks, well, once you go Mac, you don't go back. And the MacBook Pro, I've got a 2019, late 2019, the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Because it's a Mac OS device, you get a lot of free software with it, including Apple's GarageBand. Now, GarageBand is an incredibly powerful software tool, and it can do 97% of what I need to do to actually produce my podcast, all the way from recording to finished episode ready to post up on Podbean, my podcast host of choice. Again, any of the products that I talk about, any of the software I mention, any of the microphones or equipment, it's all stuff I bought myself. You know, I'm not that big an influencer, baby. At least not yet. And so no one's actually giving me stuff. I'm just using stuff that I either had because, you know, like everybody in the world, I was in a band, you know, so I have an old microphone sitting around, cameras like the one you're looking at right now. That's a Canon 70D to give me this nice kind of look. And then I'll be actually doing the editing in GarageBand on my MacBook Pro. Again, the podcast is called Nonfiction Brand. It comes out every Monday, and this will be episode, I want to say 76, but we'll find that out in just a second. So I'm going to go on over to my B cam, which is actually in the MacBook Pro itself. So you see my face as I stare right at the MacBook Pro screen. And I'm going to open up the aforementioned GarageBand app. And it'll take a second to do its cogitation and get up on screen. And ding, 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 ding. There we are. Actually, I want to size this down a little bit. So bear with me as I make this a little bit more screen friendly. Oh, come on, baby. I don't want you to be so damn large. Why don't you get smaller? Why can't I shrink you down? Oh, well. We're going over here. And yeah, it's fitting to window, so we're okay. Now, you can see right here, I've got episode 76. Okay, this is the clip that I pulled from episode 76 for my audiogram, which is one of those little marketing graphics that show you the, you know, you can tell someone's talking because you see the meters going up and down, and there's a pull quote in there and all that stuff. That's this clip. Hold on. Why is that doing that? Scarlet. Yeah, I'm using the Scarlet. Yep, Scarlet. All right. Sorry. Anyway, you can see right there, this is just a under, 35-second clip or something from the audio that I did. I don't want to deal with this, so I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to open up a new Finder window. Come on, baby. There we go. And go to my podcast thing. I'm going to get that out of the way. And you can see my podcast window. And there's 76, Melissa Bletner. Now, this is going to be a second half episode with Melissa. So first thing I'm going to do is hit Command-D to copy that file set. In that file is a whole bunch of stuff from last week that I can get rid of, including I don't need any of the AIFF files because that's the final file format that I use before turning it into an MP3. I can get rid of that. I can get rid of the audiogram. But if you want to see what the audiogram is, this is what I'm talking about when I say audiogram.
This week on the Nonfiction Brand Podcast.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're searching for a job, if you're a current employee, you still have to do the do, right? So you can't just put a resume together and sit back and be like.
I'm going to open it up as an MP4. There you can see it. All right, so this is an audiogram that I make with a free online service called Headliner. Headliner.com, I think.
This week on the Nonfiction Brand Podcast.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're searching for a job, if you're a current employee, you still have to do the do, right? So you can't just put a resume together and sit back and be like,
so obviously I use this
people are going to find me.
Promote
just in the same way that you can't start a business plan as an entrepreneur and say,
Twitter,
okay,
Facebook,
this is great.
LinkedIn,
I've got this. I'm going to do coaching or, you know.
And it just makes it look a little slicker, but I'm not doing that right now. I need to work on the new episode. Do the episode first and then do the audiogram to go with it. So first thing I need to do is update the numbers. I copied the folder, but I don't want I need to update to the EO77, the 77th episode of Nonfiction Brand. Melissa Bletner clip. And then 7677. There we go. So this is my main, and I can get rid of that too. This is my main band.band file for the GarageBand project. And the .band suffix or extension, file extension, is what actually makes it clear that this is a GarageBand situation here. If I double click on that, what's going to happen? Boom. That's going to happen. GarageBand is going to open up. Let me change windows here. And I am going to, you can see, here's the previous episode with all the edits. Yes. I don't know. If I went through and counted these, all those little vertical lines, how many are there? Oh, gosh, I would guess a couple hundred maybe. Probably 100 plus. That's the episode right there. Well, let's see. Not quite the full episode. Let's crunch this down just a little bit further. This is actually off the screen. There we go. All right. So this is the whole episode right here. All right. So why did this happen this way? Because this should actually show also the part. I'll tell you why that happened. It happened because I did not save the file correctly. Oh, crap. Well, that's okay. This is episode 77, so all this stuff I can get rid of because that was episode 76, right? I'm going to close that down so I can see things a little bit easier. You'll notice I left this last clip. Why? Because it's literally the end. Hold on. I want to move that to the front. It's the last couple things in the recording. Come on. Move, darn you. Sometimes it's helpful if you only move it a little bit at a time. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. Damn you all to hell. Here we go. So again, I'm moving it toward the front or the head. Oftentimes they'll refer to the head of the track, which is the far left, or the tail of the track, which is far right. And that goes all the way back to the days of tape. There'd be the head of the reel of tape and the tail of the reel of tape. So when I mean head, I mean the far left of the track. When I mean tail, I mean the far right. All right, so I can get rid of that. I'm being very careful to keep these tracks in sync. I'm not changing. I have to move them together for reasons that will become clear in just a second. So right now what I have to do is I need to stretch these guys out because all the rest of the recording, I know why this is. I recorded it in 2 sections. Duh. Okay, so here's a little pro I'm cheap trick. It's a cheap trick. Zoom, which is a really great recording service you can use. It's like Skype. You can use it internationally. I've done really good recordings with people from Australia using Zoom. Here's the thing. I can use it for free, and I do. I don't have a paid subscription. What that means is if the person I'm talking to has multiple inputs beyond just themselves, it'd be like if they're 2, me and them, I can record for as long as I want. But if there's a third one, like if I have them on video, but they call in via their phone, that's a third input, you have to pay. And you're limited to, I believe, 45 minutes of recording. Well, this person I'm talking to called in for the audio portion. And so I needed to record one episode, turn it off, restart, and record the next one. So that's why my regular system is not working here. So what I need to do, I'm going to use the audio device. Yeah. I need to go into my up here original podcast sessions folder. There's Melissa Bletner. Open that up and you'll see first half recording, second half recording, which I've already done files on. Now you'll see audio record, and I'm going to pull my audio in all the way up toward the front or the head, the beginning of the track, and then I'm going to pull her track in. Again, when they're butted up against the front or the head, they are in sync. But if all of a sudden I did something different, it could really mess things up. We're going to listen to this a second. I'm going to mute out the music bed, which actually has the intro music, promo 1, promo 2, and outro music. And I'm going to listen to this. Hold on, I need to get some of this stuff out of the way so I can actually make sure that I'm doing things correctly. All right, so let's listen. Recording and take a screenshot or something. Hey, smile for the camera. Just all right, that's me taking screenshots again to use for promotional purposes.
Wait, hold on.
All right. All right, so this is a bunch of blah blah at the front. I'll take a couple.
Right. As I was
terrifying new adventure toward a new position in the hospitality industry. Mm-hmm. All right, one thing I want to do is get rid of any track automation that may have been there from previous. So everything's zeroed out. I want to take the voice down to 0, and I can do that by just going 0.0. Or unity, same thing here. I want to take that to 0.0. That way we're both at the same level to start with. And if I need to make myself louder, I can do that. I'm going to get rid of some of that junk too. This extraneous crap, which you don't really need to worry about. But let's go back here. Hey. All right, and I'll take a couple because I'm a dad. And I learned a long time ago, the only way to get people looking good is if they, as a father, I learned a long time ago, if you want everyone in the picture to look good, take about 50 pictures because you're going to need it. Most of them are going to have
All right, I'm
teenage girl
too
eye
much.
rolling. During last week's episode, we talked about how you love to have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I speak from
Great.
experience here. So anyway, Melissa, you are.
I want to see something because things are acting a little funky. Okay. Why? Okay, why am I not hearing stuff there?
Yeah.
I think things are a little bit weird. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to close it because something, it's just not showing up correctly. And I don't like that. I'm going to reopen this up. Not there. I don't need the original. I need this. Change length or content. All right, what's going on here? All right, so I want to see.
That's great.
Okay, so now this is her laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see how that lines up. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I speak from experience here.
All right, this is all
so
blah, blah.
Anyway, Melissa, you are departing.
All right, so I'm going to get rid of all this early stuff by highlighting both tracks and hitting Command T and then deleting those tracks, that part of the track, that segment of the track. Now, the thing is, they're still there. See? But I still have them. They haven't gone anywhere, but the reference of where I wanted to start has changed. So I'm moving this toward the front, and I've got music, and my intro music goes bow do 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 do, and then I like the voice to come in. So let's see how that works.
Melissa,
I'm cool with that for now. I may have to deal with shaping. As a matter of fact, let's just do this. I'm going to basically mimic the slope or the volume level because I'm fighting the music right up top. So I need to be a little bit more present there. And then down here is where I can go back to kind of my zero state. Let's say I'm matching this a little bit. And I'm just raising that up. And then I'm kind of sloping down a little bit. So let's hear this. Hold on. I need to get my external speakers working here. System audio. We're fine.
Melissa, you are departing. You're not departing. You are engaging. Melissa, you are engaging with an exciting new, but potentially.
All right, so I had a bunch of false start garbage in there.
Melissa, you are engaging.
All right, I'm going to cut out this false start garbage and move everything forward a little bit, and it'll sound like this.
Melissa, you are engaging with an exciting new, but potentially terrifying new.
All right, so this is where the editing begins. I'm going to totally mute out my music bed, and I want to cut out some of this slowness. Because again, people can hear and understand things a lot faster than you can talk. So cutting out some of the extraneous stuff just makes it more comfortable for the audience.
Melissa, you are engaging with an exciting new, but potentially terrifying new adventure.
Oh, see how the playhead, this is the playhead. It's about to go off screen. Why? Because I didn't punch this button. Catch playhead. So I'm going to hit that button and watch what happens. New adventure toward a new position. Oh, all of a sudden the playhead stays in this place and the tracks roll underneath it, which is very, very handy. So exciting new, but potentially terrifying new adventure toward. All right, terrifying new adventure as opposed to terrifying a new adventure. Let's just cut out some of that blah blah. Potentially terrifying new adventure toward a new position in the hospital. All right, I'm going to turn the music on because I think I'm a little quiet. New adventure toward a new position in the hospitality industry. All right, so I am going to goose these all up. I'm going to pull that back here. Street. In on the operations side of the fence. I mean, okay. All right. So now I'm going back to the content cutting. Again, you can tell where things are slow and flabby. Like right here, there's a big pause in here. She's got a little bit of a uh-huh. Well, guess what? She can say uh-huh a little bit faster. And I can cut out a little bit before and a little bit after. Because again, I'm doing this for my listeners' sake. Hey, and by the way, I don't know if Restream.io is working right or not, but if you'd like to ask a question, I'm going to open up Restream chat. You should be able to, if I can figure this out. What is my email, my login? Well, this should work in Ecamm. You should be able to ask me a question, and I'll be able to answer it if anybody's listening. Which typically, install new version of Restream chat. Hold on. Oh, my Lord. All right. I'm not going to worry about this right now because I don't want to reveal my passwords or username. So we'll just keep going like this. The hospitality industry on the operations side. Okay, on the operations side. I can get rid of that in. Oh, see? I started moving one track instead of both. Don't want that to happen. So I hit Command Z, which is every editor's friend, which is undo. Again, I'm on a Macintosh or a MacBook Pro, so Command Z is undo. Industry on the operations side of the fence. I mean, okay. During the past episode. I mean, okay. I don't mind having kind of temporizing words like okay, but I don't like these huge gaps. So I'm going to get rid of them. Why? Because I care. Side of the fence. I mean, okay, during the past episode, during last week's episode, we talked about. Okay, so that's. How many times can I say okay? So that's replacing that. I'm overwriting the previous okay. Side of the fence. I mean, okay, during last week's episode. I mean, there's a. Hold on. I'm going to pull this back so I can isolate some weirdness going on here. And by the way, one of the tools I highly recommend, I super duper highly recommend, is a trackpad. This is what I use instead of a mouse because it allows you to do all those things that you've learned to do with your phone. Like if you want to zoom in, you go, if you want to zoom out, you go, and allows you to move things a lot easier than a mouse. And this is I mean, God, this has to be 10 years old, maybe something like that.
an Apple Magic Trackpad. This is not the latest version at all, but it still works brilliantly, and it's wireless, so I don't have that wire messing up my desk, which is helpful. Highly recommended for stuff like this. Oh, look, I'm zooming out or zooming in. I'm zooming in. Or is that out? I'm zooming out. There we go. Oh, okay. So see this blurb? Listen. Let's listen. All of a sudden, it's coming through my headphones. What? Hold on. Check. Oh, yeah, I can hear it over my headphones now. And I can turn this down. That's nice. I mean, this is like Liz Lemon's blurg. Get rid of the Liz Lemon blurg if you're a fan of 30 Rock. And butt them up together. And always listen back. What is your vision? That's a darn good question. I mean, okay, that was too tight. I mean, okay. Take out that. And now some people say, why don't you use an automatic, technique to get rid of all these gaps? And I do at the end, but I want this to sound musical, not mechanical. And what I mean by that is mechanical means that tell computer any gaps, get rid of the gaps. And all of a sudden everything sounds really clippy. And as opposed to musical, which is, no, you have to listen to it. I mean, if someone is like thinking about an answer to a question, you might want to leave that pause in there because it's indicating that they're really taking some time to think about it. And that's a good thing, So don't make a computer go, there's a gap, close the gap. Listen like a musician and go, no, bring the trumpets in right there. And a big part of that strategy is what is going on? Why is this kicking in and out with my headphones and then not my headphones? Hold on a second. Scarlet movie. USB system audio. Hold on. Check 1, 2. How about I'm going to... That is me making adjustments to my audio to see if where is this coming out of? Check. Okay, now it's out of my headphones again. What's going on? And a big part of that. And now that's coming out of my speakers. Strategy. And a big part of that strategy is having a vision. What is your vision of your perfect job? And of your perfect job. All right, so see that? I think there's a pop there, which is telling me I might need to put my pop filter back on this bad boy. I took it off to put it on a different microphone. And in spite of the fact that I have a pop filter on it, my P's are so plosive that sometimes you get a pop.
I think you probably just heard a pop right then.
Vision of your perfect job so that we can help you find the opportunity to get that perfect job.
Right.
All right. So as she formulates her answer, she's taking a little bit of time, which is only natural, but I don't need you to wait for that. So she said, she says, right. I think I'm, or something. Let's see.
Right.
As I was starting my job search, I can get rid of all that garbage and it'll sound absolutely natural.
Right. As I was starting my job search, I really wanted to make sure.
Right. So she has a cough or a little bit of a right there. And again, you'll learn to recognize this the more you do it. So, boom. Let's see if that works. Okay, so she was right. So, ooh, don't want that. I need to grab all of these and move them all forward.
That perfect job.
Right. So as I was starting my job search, I really wanted to make sure, especially.
I'm just going to trim this a little bit.
Starting my job search, I really wanted to make sure, especially at this point in time, I've had so much time building my career over the years. That now
All right, so get rid of because they become very, very tedious to listen to. And they also make your guests sound maybe not as bright as they actually are.
Building my career over the years, but now I really want to do exactly what I want to do. But now I really want to do exactly what I want to do. So it's time to.
So keep the so. Get rid of the I think I might be able to do this, but I'll need to listen back.
Exactly what I want to do. So it's time to step out and be a general manager of a resort. For many, many years.
Resort, period, big leave a little bit of a gap because there was a period on the end of the sentence and a new sentence started there. So a little bit more gap is necessary. Okay, that was two. See, it's all a timing thing. A period at the end of a sentence deserves more room than a comma inside or in the interior of a sentence.
And be a general manager of a resort. For many, many years, I was on the corporate end of things, which I still love that. But I'm very.
See again, but okay, I have a rule of thumb that is very simple, and it should actually be a bumper sticker. And that rule of thumb is if it is discrete, you can delete. And what does that mean? Let's take a look. She's got an in here. Hold on.
But I'm.
Oh my God, what is going on? Why is it constantly jumping back and forth?
But I'm that. But I'm.
Okay, there's the right there, right? Well, it has a gap in front and a gap in back. That's what I mean by it's discrete. It's alone. It's by itself. So it's really super easy to get rid of simply by going trim, highlight both tracks, hit Control T for trim, and then go goodbye. Hello, clean sentence. Listen back.
I still love that, but I'm very.
There's another that is totally discrete. Get rid of it. And my guess sounds smarter. And here's the thing, you get more guests when your guests sound smart.
Which I still love that, but I'm very excited for the opportunities that are out there to lead a team of people. To
lead a team of blah, blah, blah people. How about lead a team of people?
the opportunities that are out there to lead a team of people, to lead a team of young leaders.
People, and again, there's a comma there. So the comma can be shorter than a period at the end of a sentence.
To lead a team of people, to lead a team of young leaders and help develop those directors.
So again, get rid of the You can do it. It's super easy.
Help develop those directors, managers, supervisors, and instill that brand into an operations end of things. So that's
so get rid of it. That's a new sentence. So I'm going to leave a little bit of distance for a transition
into an operations end of things. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. For a while, it took me a while to kind of say, yeah, that's where I think I want to be. I think the other thing that
okay, there's an there, but let's see if I can get away with it. She starts a word. Let's close it up.
Yeah, that's where I think I want to be. I think the other thing
that felt a little tight. So I'm going to give it a little bit more room.
Yeah, that's where I think I want to be. I think the other thing that's important is it's not.
The other thing that's important, I think I've got two that's in there. So let me get rid of one of them and the gap. Like that's one of two that's. So let's see.
I think the other thing that's important is it's not. I don't necessarily want something.
Okay, so I need a long pause because she's kind of doing an awkward transition in thought. So I need to leave that in, but I don't need two.
That's important is it's not. I don't necessarily want something that.
I don't necessarily want. Again, I can trim that up. And you'll notice I'm not doing anything to mess with the meaning of what she's saying. I'm just making it flow easier for the listener. Because here's the thing about audio. If you've got video, if you're doing a video, you can have audio that is shaky as long as the visual is good. But with podcasting, your audio is everything. And I know personally, I have wanted to listen to a podcast. The second I listen to it, it's got crappy audio. I just don't want to listen to it anymore. Even if it was really good content, don't care. If it sounds bad, I'm moving on. Why? Because there's so many great sounding podcasts, which is why you need to be really worried about how good your podcast sounds. Right? That's why you're watching me, right? Right. All right, let's go. Why is this doing this? I don't understand.
The other thing that's important is it's not, I don't necessarily want something that's stagnant, right? So growth is very, very important for me. I love entrepreneurial startups. So even the family.
Okay, there's a little bit of a, like if you look closely, you can see a little bit of something right there. I don't know if it's showing up on your screen, but I can see it. I'm going to cut that out because it's like a hiccup. Get rid of that hiccup of audio because it's just not needed.
I love entrepreneurial startups. So even the family-owned resort company.
Okay, there's an in there.
Resort.
Even the family-owned resort company. Even the family-owned resort.
Startup. So even the family-owned resort company or entertainment company that is growing.
What am I going to do with that? You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it out like it's a tumor. Goodbye, tumor. You know, you don't belong in my podcast, tumor. I excise you.
Company or entertainment company that is growing and
a little bit of a cut out a little bit. And again, I'm going pretty fast, but you get the idea. You understand the concept. And the more you do it, the faster you'll get because
processing a podcast this way is a little bit laborious, and a lot of other people would have someone else do it or maybe have it automated. I don't want to do that. Why? Because I'm a cheap ass rat bastard, and I'm a little bit of a control freak about this. I want to make it sound as good as I can, so I'm going to do it to make sure it sounds as good as I can possibly make it.
Payment company that is growing and maybe needs that brand structure, similar to how when I started out at my last position, it was a small resort, 100 rooms.
It was a small resort. I'm going to get rid of the big small. It was a small resort.
When I started out at my last position, it was a small resort, 100 rooms, 117 rooms, 100 employees.
All right, can I get rid of that kind of messy 100?
Small resort, 100 rooms, 117 rooms.
All right, so 100 small resort, 100 rooms. I think I can cut right there because this was a false start, 100 employees or something.
Position. It was a small resort, 100 rooms, 117 rooms, 100 employees.
Okay, 117 rooms. I can get rid of all that by overwriting it.
Position. It was a small resort, 117 rooms, 100 employees. They didn't have.
And there's a big tumor. Let's get out the tumor scalpel. Goodbye, tumor. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my tumor. James Blunt. Remember that song?
117 rooms, 100 employees. They didn't have structure. They didn't know really where they were going with things. To be able to go in and create that, that's really what I'm looking for. So not necessarily a company.
So there's some hiccupy stuff in here. Cut it out. Just cleaning up. Again, this is like finished carpentry. Getting out the triple aught steel wool to make this thing silky smooth.
That's really what I'm looking for. So not necessarily a company that's completely got it all together. Somebody that needs.
Somebody that needs. I'm going to leave the longer gap before just to give it a little bit of white space, a little bit of air.
That's completely got it all together. Somebody that needs that help and assistance.
Okay. Again, a computer would just cut all these, like a lot of automated programs would just cut out all these gaps and make it clippy. And I don't want that. I want it to sound musical and human.
Got it all together. Somebody that needs that help and assistance so that we can kind of build together as a team. So it's kind of what I'm looking for.
Very cool. All right. So my response is a little slow. I can tighten that up.
Looking for.
Very cool. One of the structure analogies that I use. All right. She cleared her voice right here. I want to get rid of that because it's cross-talking. It's not adding any good thing to the conversation. So I'm going to create what I call a duck blind or a duck box because I can duck the volume all the way out, or I can boost. This is a boost box. I'm boosting the volume. In this case, I'm getting rid of her altogether, and so it sounds cleaner. Well, one of the structure analogies that I use a lot when talking. Did you hear it? Of course you didn't. Cool. One of the structure analogies that I use a lot when talking to people is the idea that. Okay, I had a weird. All right, I got a little bit of weirdness in here. I can cut it out. That kind of weird breath noise. I'm actually using the noise gate, which is a whole nother subject. But that was the noise gate closing and opening. Analogies that I use a lot when talking to people is the idea that all right, I can get rid of I'll keep the previous kind of weird but get rid of the second is the idea that every company. I don't like that so I'm going to try this. That, because that is a good word because it has a hard T at the end. I might be able to get away with this. Let's see. To people is the idea that every company, no matter what style, requires no matter what style requires company, no matter what style, requires generals, colonels, and sergeants. And what I mean by that is that. All right, so she goes, here's a trick that I'm playing with time a little bit. This is a little bit dangerous, but I'm going to be very careful with it. I'm gonna time shift her into the miniature gap over here, just so she can be in the clear when she says it. Colonels and sergeants. And what I mean by that is that generals are pure strategy. You know, typically your sea level. Okay, there's a kind of, and there's a little hiccup there. I'm going to get rid of that little hiccup. And I think that might be because I was too close to the mic and maybe popping that P a little bit. By that is that generals are pure strategy. You know, typically generals are pure strategy. You know, that generals are pure strategy. Oh, man. I want to wear my headphones. Hold on. Hold on. Need to go into my eCam settings. Preferences. Audio. Noise cancellation. Automatically mute. Not that. System audio. Hold on. Opening up my system preferences. Little sound. Here we go. My output, I want to keep there, but my input, Scarlett to USB. That looks okay. Output. Can I do this? And hold on a second. Check 1, 2. If I come down here, check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. All right. It appears to be working. And it appears to be broadcasting. So I'm going to do that. Because this way I can hear things a lot clearer via my headphones. Me really a lot of help when it comes to understanding what gaps are there, what little hiccups and things like that. Plus, I'll be able to hear me popping my peas on my Peter Pepper peck to peck of pickled peppers microphone. I'm not popping peas, I don't think. But maybe. All right, so here we go. The last available interface. Yeah. Check 1, 2. Yep, that's going out. So here we go. By that is that generals. Oh my gosh, you should be coming out through my headphones. Let me think about this. Audio settings can be a real pain. So I'm going to do this. Except I won't be able to hear anything. Let me go. Preferences. Audio. Use Max picked up by your phone. Check 1, 2. Broadcast audio when in screen sharing mode all the time. Why am I getting a caution message? Possible feedback. Okay. Check 1, 2. Broadcast audio. All right. Sorry about this, but this is what happens with technology. If you think something's not working right, you got to double check. All right. So let's see if this is working. I am back in
The saddle?
What I mean by that is that generals are pure strategy. Typically your C-level.
You should be hearing that. Why am I not hearing it? Oh, you darn. When in doubt. Check 1, 2. Oh, where are you? Check 1, 2. System audio. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks okay. Sound. Headphone port output. All right. Check 1, 2. Show menu and bar. Why are you not working right? All right, so I can hear that coming out. I can hear that track coming out, but I can't hear my voice coming through, which is odd. So maybe I need to... Mic delay auto mag, broadcast system audio all the time. Blah, blah, blah. All right, well, I can hear the track, so we're going to go with that. I call the generals. All right, so we got her, I need to time shift that. Highlight only her track, Command T. Head to the tail end of that, Command T. I can now move that kind of there. Tighten this up. Again, hit both tracks. Pull it back, tighten it up. Bada bing. Again, I'm going to time shift her. I like to call these barbaros. If you listen to the New York Times, the daily podcast, Michael Barbaro, I think that's his name, he'll go, and they actually make fun of him at the New York Times, but they keep it in because it's implying that he's engaged with the conversation going, So I'm going to call that a barbaro. Oh, hush. Because the guest experience can't suffer. Hold on a second. What? Hey, check 1, 2. So you're getting voice, but you're not getting this audio. Let me see. Okay, you can't. It's not broadcasting. Studio automatically top map. I don't care. Automatically map mute microphone. Broadcast audio all the time. Let's go back to preferences. Mm-hmm. Mac Ecamm Live Audio app audio. Let's leave it there and see if this is all right. So you can hear my voice. I can see that. But the system audio is not coming up. I'm not muting it. Input. Let's try this. Maybe it was echo canceling. Maybe. Something's going on here. I'm going to stop broadcasting because I got to figure this out. Thanks for watching. Once again, technology is my foil, and I got to deal with it. So when I figure this out, I'm probably not this week going to do it, but next Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, what is it, Central Daylight Time? UTC -6, I believe, right now. I'm going to be back editing this flippin' podcast. This is just par for the course, but it's what you got to deal with if you want to create a podcast that people can listen to. And by the way, if you're not doing that, you're leaving opportunity and potentially money on the table. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand Podcast and Nonfiction Brandversity, which is a free Facebook group I'd love to invite you to join. Just search Nonfiction Brandversity on Facebook, ask to join, answer, I think, 3 questions to prove you're not a bot, and you're in. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Let music take us on out. Is that broadcasting? Yes, it is. All right. I'll talk to you guys next